Russia in the late 1600s was a land of contrasts. It was a place where ancient traditions met the vast, untamed wilderness, creating a unique and often harsh environment for its people. It was vast, stretching from the Baltic Sea to the Pacific Ocean, encompassing a multitude of cultures, languages, and landscapes. This immense size made governance a daunting task. It was rich in resources with forests, farmland, and furs. These natural riches were the backbone of the economy, supporting both the nobility and the common folk. Yet, it lagged behind Western Europe in many ways. While Europe was experiencing a cultural and scientific revolution, Russia remained isolated, clinging to its medieval ways. Think of it like this. Europe was having a Renaissance party, and Russia was stuck at home, wearing outdated clothes. The gap between the two was stark and growing wider by the day. They hadn't quite got the memo about the printing press, modern science, or fancy new ways to run a country. Innovations that were transforming Europe were slow to reach Russian soil. The Russian Orthodox Church held strong influence. It was a pillar of society, guiding the spiritual and moral compass of the nation, often resisting change. The Tsar, Russia's absolute ruler, was seen as God's representative on earth. His word was law, and his power was unquestioned, yet the system was rigid and resistant to reform. Life for ordinary peasants was tough, bound by tradition and often tied to the land. Serfdom was widespread, and the majority of the population lived in rural areas, working the fields under harsh conditions. Then came Peter the Great, a Tsar determined to wake this sleeping giant and drag it, kicking and screaming if necessary, into the modern world. His vision was to transform Russia into a major European power, capable of standing toe-to-toe with the great nations of the West. Peter wasn't your typical stay-at-home Tsar. He was a man of action and curiosity, always eager to explore and learn. He was tall, curious, and had a thirst for knowledge, especially when it came to Western Europe's advancements. His imposing stature and keen intellect made him a formidable figure, both at home and abroad. In 1697, he embarked on what we'd call today a fact-finding mission, traveling incognito with a group of Russian officials. This journey was unprecedented for a ruler of his time, showing his dedication to learning firsthand. They called it the Grand Embassy, and grand it was, taking them to Prussia, the Dutch Republic, England, and even the Holy Roman Empire. Each destination offered unique insights and innovations that Peter eagerly absorbed. Peter wasn't afraid to get his hands dirty. He rolled up his sleeves and immersed himself in various trades and crafts. He worked as a shipwright in the Netherlands, learning the art of shipbuilding. This hands-on experience was crucial for his plans to modernize the Russian Navy. He dissected corpses in Amsterdam, fascinated by anatomy. His interest in medicine and science was part of a broader quest to bring Western knowledge to Russia. He met with scientists, philosophers, and rulers, soaking up knowledge like a sponge. These interactions broadened his perspective and equipped him with the ideas needed to transform his homeland. Peter returned to Russia with a head full of ideas and a burning desire to modernize his country. His European adventure had armed him with the tools and insights necessary to propel Russia into a new era of progress and innovation. Peter's reforms were like a whirlwind sweeping through Russia. He wanted to transform every aspect of Russian life, from how the government functioned to what people wore. He reorganized the army, creating a professional standing force instead of relying on unreliable nobles. He introduced a new system of administration, dividing Russia into provinces to make it easier to govern. He modernized the calendar, adopting the Julian calendar used in the West. And he reformed the tax system, which, let's be honest, nobody ever enjoys, but it was necessary to fund his ambitious projects. Section 4. A new army, a new empire. Peter knew that to be a major power, Russia needed a strong military. He recognized that the old ways were no longer sufficient in a rapidly changing world. The Russian army, with its outdated tactics and equipment, was no match for the well-trained and well-equipped forces of Europe. He built a powerful navy, something Russia had lacked before, opening a window to the world through the Baltic Sea. This was a monumental task, requiring not just the construction of ships, but also the establishment of shipyards and the training of sailors. The navy became a symbol of Russia's newfound strength and ambition. He modernized the army, training soldiers with European tactics and weaponry. Peter brought in experts from abroad to teach his troops the latest military techniques. This transformation was not just about new weapons, but also about instilling discipline and a new way of thinking about warfare. He wasn't afraid to use this new military might. Peter led his reformed army into numerous battles, demonstrating the effectiveness of his changes. His leadership on the battlefield inspired his troops and struck fear into his enemies. He fought the Great Northern War against Sweden, a major military power at that time. This conflict was a true test of Russia's new military capabilities. The war was marked by intense battles and strategic maneuvers, showcasing Peter's military genius. The war was long and brutal, but in the end, Russia was victorious. This victory was not just a military success, but a turning point in Russian history. It marked the rise of Russia as a formidable force in Europe. This victory gave Russia access to the Baltic Sea and established it as a major player on the European stage. The Baltic Sea became a crucial gateway for trade and military power, enhancing Russia's influence and reach. Peter built a new capital city, St. Petersburg, on the shores of the Baltic. This city was designed to be a modern, European-style metropolis, reflecting Peter's vision for Russia's future. It became a center of culture, commerce, and political power. It was his window to the West, a symbol of Russia's new era. St. Petersburg stood as a testament to Peter's ambition and his determination to transform Russia into a great European power. Section 5. Beards, Clothes, and Calendars, the Culture Clash. Peter's reforms went beyond politics and war. He wanted to change how Russians lived, dressed, and even shaved. He ordered noblemen to shave their beards, a symbol of traditional Russian culture, and adopt Western clothing. He encouraged the learning of foreign languages and sent young Russians abroad to study. He even reformed the Russian alphabet, making it easier to learn and use. These changes were met with resistance. Many saw them as an attack on their traditions and way of life. But Peter was relentless, determined to drag Russia into the modern world, even if it meant a little beard trimming along the way. Section 6. St. Petersburg, a window to the West. St. Petersburg wasn't just a new capital, it was Peter's grand vision made real. Built on swampy land, it was a testament to his ambition and engineering prowess. The city was designed in a European style, with wide avenues, grand palaces, and beautiful canals. It became a hub for trade, culture, and diplomacy, attracting artists, architects, and intellectuals from all over Europe. St. Petersburg was Peter's way of showing the world that Russia was no longer a backward country, but a modern European power. Section 7. The Tsar's Legacy, Modern Russia's Foundation. Peter the Great died in 1725, but his impact on Russia was undeniable. He transformed Russia from a landlocked, isolated country into a European power with a modern military and a say in international affairs. His reforms were not without their critics. Some argue they were too radical, too disruptive to Russian tradition. Others say they were necessary to modernize Russia and secure its place in the world. One thing is certain: Peter the Great left an indelible mark on Russia. His reign marked a turning point in Russian history, setting the stage for the country's emergence as a major player on the world stage, a position it still holds today.